I always believed that taking care of my parents was my duty, my honor. Every single month, like clockwork, I sent them $2,400. I imagined it paying for their mortgage, their groceries, the little comforts they deserved after raising me. It wasn't always easy. I'm not exactly rolling in cash myself. I cut back on a lot of things. I skipped vacations, drove my old car until it practically begged for retirement. And my idea of a fancy dinner was ordering pizza instead of cooking instant noodles. But for them, it was worth it. Every sacrifice felt like a small token of my love and gratitude. Whenever I'd ask how they were doing with the bills, the conversation would get a little weird. They'd be vague. "Oh, we're managing," my mom would say, quickly changing the subject to my love life or what my boss was like. My dad would just grunt something about everything being expensive these days. I chalked it up to their pride. They were from a generation that didn't like to talk about money or admit they needed help. I respected that, so I didn't push. I just kept sending the money, trusting that I was doing the right thing, that I was easing their burdens. I'd call them, and they'd tell me they were just having a quiet night at home, watching TV. I'd picture them on their old floral sofa, cozy and content, all thanks to the financial cushion I was providing. It made me feel good, like I was a good son. I'd work late shifts, pick up freelance projects on weekends, constantly running the numbers in my head to make sure I could cover my own rent and still send their payment on time. My social life took a nosedive. Friends would ask me to go out, and I'd have to make excuses. "Sorry, I'm swamped with work," became my standard reply. The truth was, I just couldn't afford it. The $2,400 was a huge chunk of my income, a constant weight on my budget. But it was a weight I chose to carry, believing it was for the most important cause in the world, my parents' well-being. Then one evening, scrolling through social media during a rare moment of downtime, my world turned upside down. It started with a tagged photo. A distant cousin had posted it. At first, I didn't recognize them. The two people in the picture were tanned, beaming, and looked about 10 years younger. They were standing on a pristine white sand beach, with turquoise water sparkling behind them. One of them was holding a colorful cocktail with a little umbrella in it, my mom. The other one, wearing a ridiculously loud Hawaiian shirt and sunglasses, was my dad. They weren't just on a beach, they were on a luxurious-looking resort beach. The caption read, "So great to see Auntie and Uncle enjoying their much-deserved retirement getaway." Living the dream, my heart sank. I clicked on my mom's profile, something I rarely did. And there it was, album after album of photos. Not just from this one trip, but from several. There they were, clinking champagne glasses on a cruise ship balcony, posing with a mariachi band in Mexico, riding camels in front of pyramids. It wasn't just a single vacation, it was a lifestyle. A globe-trotting, five-star lifestyle that I was apparently funding. Every photo was a punch to the gut. The fancy dinners, the spa days, the souvenir shopping sprees. It was all laid out in high-definition color. All those nights I ate ramen, all those weekends I worked until my eyes blurred. It wasn't for their mortgage. It was for their margaritas, the quiet nights at home they told me about. They were quiet because they were in a different time zone, probably lounging by a pool. The anger that rose in me was hot and sharp. It wasn't just about the money, it was the lie. The sheer, calculated deception from the two people I trusted most in the world. I couldn't sleep that night. I just kept staring at the screen, at their smiling, carefree faces. My face, I looked in the mirror and I saw tired eyes and stress lines. I had sacrificed my own youth, my own chances to travel and experience the world, so they could live out a fantasy at my expense. The next morning, I called them. I didn't even say hello. I just said, "The beach looks nice. Is it the trip my $2,400 paid for this month?" There was a long, deafening silence on the other end of the line. Finally, my mom's voice, small and shaky, came through. "Honey, it's not what you think." But it was exactly what I thought. I confronted them with everything I saw, the cruises, the resorts, the fancy meals. The whole story finally came tumbling out. My dad had received a small inheritance a couple of years ago. It wasn't a fortune, but it was enough to pay off their house and give them a comfortable cushion. They never told me When I started sending them money, they didn't need it for bills. So, they just used it. We just wanted to have some fun, my dad said, his voice defensive. We worked hard our whole lives. We deserved it. I yelled into the phone, my voice cracking, "You deserve to lie to your own son. To let me struggle and sacrifice so you could go on vacation? I've been killing myself to help you, and you've been living a lie." My mom started crying, saying they were ashamed to tell me, and that it just sort of snowballed. They were sorry, so sorry, but their apologies felt hollow. The trust was shattered into a million pieces. How could they watch me work myself to the bone, knowing they were perfectly fine? How could they listen to my worries about money while they were booking their next first-class flight? The conversation ended with me telling them the payments were stopping immediately. I said I needed space, that I couldn't even look at them right now. The silence that followed was heavier than any words could have been. It's been a few months now. I haven't spoken to them much, just a few stilted, awkward texts. I stopped the automatic transfers, and that first month, seeing that extra $2,400 in my account felt strange. It felt like freedom, but it was tainted with sadness. I've started to rebuild my life. I got my car fixed properly. I even went out for a nice dinner with friends last weekend. It felt good. I'm starting to save for a trip of my own, a real one. But the relationship with my parents is broken, and I don't know if it can ever be truly fixed. The financial support is gone, but what was really lost was the belief that we were a family looking out for each other. I learned a hard lesson. Sometimes the people you love the most can be the ones who hurt you the deepest. And sometimes, the most loving thing you can do is to start taking care of yourself. Thanks for listening to my story. If you've ever been through something similar, let me know in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe for more real-life stories.